Good morning, party people. All right, so recently had made a post on Instagram probably 6 or 7 days ago, and while the post itself isn't important, I had mentioned some recent PRs. The thing that was important, because several people brought it up to me afterwards, is that the fact that I had talked about that I've been dealing with a low back injury for the last 6 months, since 6 plus months since like March or February of 2023. So, in the post, I talked about the fact that I had bought a reverse hyper back in July at great expense, both in terms of actual dollar value of the equipment and the shipping cost, because it has to come by freight because it comes fully assembled from Rogue, and it basically had made a near immediate impact on improving the health of my low back. I had tried a variety of different things, like not deadlifting, minimizing squat weight, switching to sumo stance deadlifts. Um, since I'd started dealing with the problems, and this was the thing that really allowed me to move the needle in the direction for that I'd been hoping for, and it was almost immediate. Within like a couple of days, it made a tremendous difference. So while I can't guarantee that people will experience the same thing that I did, they get the same benefit that I got. If you're having trouble taking your low back from extension to flexion, as in at the getting into the position at the bottom of a deadlift or bending over to like put socks on, then it may be worthwhile to investigate if a reverse hyper can work for you. And just to show you what a reverse hyper looks like, a movement here. I am with 115 pounds. You notice that keeping the strap taut the entire time, and I'm taking my back from extension to flexion. It's putting it into light traction at the very bottom as I swing my legs forward, and it really lights up your low back, your glutes, and to a lesser extent the hamstrings. That's what that looks like. So um, here we can see a an example of a. It talks about some of the benefits of it. It gives you spinal decompression that can't easily, while it's under load, can't easily be duplicated by other equipment. It's going to strengthen your posterior chain, your lower back. I used it as a rehab tool. It's going to stretch. It's going to stretch your low back and your glutes to some extent. And while I wasn't able to sort of squat heavy, um, it's going to give you some additional external loading. And I do actually believe that it aids in my recovery. Maybe I've placeboed myself into thinking this. Um, I don't actually know. I'm not a certainly not a medical professional by any means, but this thing worked for me, and it may be of use for you, especially if you're dealing with low back issues and you sort of run the gamut. So this specifically here, the RH2 is the reverse hyper that I bought from Rogue as of 2023. It's about $800, and it costs about $250 shipped, at least from Columbus to my house here in the South Hills of Pittsburgh. It was actually probably closer to 300. I guess maybe that was with tax and everything. It comes on a giant pallet. I did not buy the hyper roller attachment. I just used the spud straps. It comes with a nice set of collars on there. Rogue also sells a smaller version, the Rogue Scout Hyper. This is foldable. You can see here. Let's see. Yeah, folds up. So if you're don't have a lot of space and you don't plan to go very heavy, the Scout Hyper might be. I'm sure that the shipping is much less expensive by comparison. You can see it just laying up against the wall. You're not going to be able to load it as heavy as the RH2, but that's it. You can see that it works functionally the same way. Additionally, when I was poking around the internet and searched for reverse hyper on Titan, you can see that they have a bunch of Chinese knockoffs, kind of similar to what Rogue sells. They have this economy version, the beefy version, which is a little bit less expensive. They also have one that is rack mounted, um, which if you have a Titan rack, one of the kinds that they mention in the article here, this might actually be, another alternative, because this one is also relatively inexpensive, certainly in the fall of 2023. If you have some experience with Titan and are okay with it. So it was invented by Louis Simmons of West Side Barbell fame there in Columbus. After he broke his back in competition, he wanted to get back under the bar. If you wanted to have some instructions on how to use the reverse hyper, I would suggest using this video from Barbell Logic. It has a pretty detailed set of instructions here I recommend. And then while I've never used it for anything other than its original purpose, I did come across this video from Dan Bailey, and has some other he has some other suggested uses for it that you could possibly use. And so it doesn't have to necessarily just be one dimensional. As far as how I used it um, training wise, the first week I probably used it 3 or 4 times and did sets of 20 with about 20 to 25 pounds of weight, and I probably did that 3 to 5 times a day on the days that I did that. Subsequent weeks I probably used it twice a week and did sets of adding 10 to 15 pounds, maybe as much as 20 pounds from that first week. And eventually I worked up to about 100 pounds, and at that point I kind of slowed the progression down. I would say that probably within 6 weeks, certainly my back pain has returned to baseline. It's probably more than 3 months at this point that I've had it. So I've probably been back to baseline pain in terms of back health for a good 6 weeks now. So I've only ever used it for relatively high reps. It's probably consistent with the discussion in the Back Mechanic, which is another book that you may consider looking into. This and or the Gift of Injury might offer some insights in terms of the nature of the specific back pain that you have, and it may offer some insights in terms of what you need to do in order to help yourself get back to baseline level of pain, if it happens that the reverse hyper is not the thing for you. So if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up either in the comments here or elsewise if you know me. And good luck out there.